I'm holding a letter from my daughter Sarah. My hands aren't steady. It's about my grandson's high school graduation. I've never met him. I'm 60 years old, and this piece of paper, this news from a life I'm not part of, is why I'm talking to you today. You see, I spent 24 years in prison. I traded my freedom for a television and some cash I never even spent. I lost everything. My family, my future, every ordinary moment, because I convinced myself I was smart enough to control a chaos I helped create. Let me tell you what happened. It started in 2001. I was 37. I was a shift supervisor at the warehouse in Rock Island, divorced, seeing my 3 kids on weekends. I felt stuck. The Mississippi River was always moving, but I was just on the bank, watching. I was the responsible one, the planner, but I felt like I was going nowhere. That feeling, that restlessness, it made me listen when my brother Mike showed up with what he called an opportunity. Mike was always the big talker. He came to me about a house in the Broadway district, said it belonged to some out-of-town businessman, was sitting empty, full of easy-to-sell things. He needed a driver, a lookout, someone steady. And you know what? I told myself I was just facilitating, keeping it clean. I was the supervisor, even in this. That was my arrogance. I agreed. For a few weeks we planned. I mapped routes, timed police patrols. I convinced myself this was a calculated business move, not a crime. The night of the job, I was parked a block over, engine off. Mike and his friend went to the back. Just before he got out, Mike leaned in my window. He handed me a pistol. Just in case, he said. I held it. It was cold. It was heavy. A line was crossed right then. I wasn't just a lookout anymore. I sat there in the dark, holding that stupid gun, listening to my own heartbeat. I should have thrown it back at him. I should have driven away. That silence in the car, that was the last peace I'd ever know. Then I saw a light go on in an upstairs window. My stomach dropped. The house wasn't empty. A second later, the back door burst open. Mike and his friend came crashing out, running. They jumped a fence and vanished into the dark. I was alone in the car. I was frozen. Those 10 seconds of paralysis, I felt pure terror. They cost me everything. Then, pure instinct took over. I gunned the engine. I got 2 blocks, just 2. Then the whole world turned red and blue. The police lights filled my mirrors, my car, my life. I pulled over. I remember putting my hands on the steering wheel, staring straight ahead. I knew it was over. The gun was right there on the passenger seat. The just-in-case gun made it all so much worse. They took me in. The charges were armed burglary. That's when the reality started to sink in. I felt resigned. It was done. My first week in county jail, before sentencing, my daughter Sarah came to visit. She was 16. She sat there on the other side of the glass. She didn't cry. She just looked at me and asked, "Dad, my graduation is in May. Will you be there?" I had to say no. I saw it in her eyes, the exact moment she stopped seeing me as her father and started seeing me as an inmate. That look, that was the real sentence being passed. The judge gave me 35 years, but Sarah's eyes, that grief was for life. That grief was for life. They sentenced me to 35 years. I went from the county jail to the Illinois River Correctional Center. That's when the real thinking started. You have nothing in there but time and your own thoughts, chasing each other in circles. I'd lie on my bunk and I'd trace it all back, link by link, like a chain. The first link was that feeling of being stuck. Then came pride, thinking I was too smart, too good for the warehouse life. Then greed, wanting that shortcut. Then fear, taking that gun from Mike's hand. One stupid choice linked to the next. You don't see the chain until it's already wrapped around you, and then it's too late. I realized then that prison didn't start when the gate closed behind me. It started the moment I decided my wants were more important than my life. And you know what they don't tell you? You don't lose the places first. You lose the sounds. For 24 years, my world had a soundtrack. It was the clang of steel doors, the buzz of the locks, the shouted counts, the echo of footsteps in a concrete hall. It was a constant grating noise. And in all that noise, what I missed most were the quiet sounds. The sound of my kids laughing in the next room. The sound of a key turning in my own front door. The sound of the Mississippi River on a still night. Just water moving in the dark. You don't think about those sounds until they're gone. Freedom isn't just the absence of walls. It's the presence of choices, and it's the soundtrack of a life you get to live. I'd thrown mine away. I served 24 of those 35 years. I got out because of good behavior, they said. What's good behavior? It's just learning to live inside the chain. My brothers, Mike got a plea deal. He testified. He served 7 years. We haven't spoken since the trial. My other brother, he wrote once, said he didn't know what to say to me. The kids, my 2 sons, they never came, not once. Sarah, she wrote, every few years a letter would find me, a birth announcement, a wedding invitation I couldn't attend. And now this, a graduation announcement for a boy whose face I've only seen in a photograph. When I got out, everything was different and nothing was. Rock Island had changed. The warehouse was gone. My old apartment building was a parking lot. I got a room in a halfway house. I'm a 60-year-old man with a record trying to find work that pays more than minimum wage. The world moves fast when you've been standing still for 2 decades. But some things don't change. The river's still there. I go down and sit by it sometimes. I watch it move the same way I did when I felt stuck. Only now I am stuck, for real. So here's the advice for what it's worth. If you're sitting there thinking about that one shortcut, that one score, that one act of revenge or desperation, stop. Just stop. Look at your hands right now. Look at them. Imagine those hands unable to hug someone you love whenever you want. Imagine them unable to open your own refrigerator or feel the rain without a chain link fence overhead. Imagine holding a letter from a life you used to belong to, knowing you're just a ghost in it. That's the real price tag. It's not about the time they give you. It's about the time you give away. The way out is always there, but only before you cross the line. It's in choosing the boring thing, the hard thing, the honest thing. It's saying no to your brother when he hands you a plan. It's throwing the gun back and saying, "Not for me." It's going back to the warehouse, even if you're tired, even if you feel stuck. It's choosing to go home. Every single day, you get to choose to go home. I forgot that. What I understand now, sitting here with this letter, is that some sentences you never finish serving. I'm out, but I'm not free, not really. The grief for the man I could have been, the father I should have been, that's a life sentence. My family, what's left of it, is limited contact. I'm a footnote in their story, a cautionary tale. Your grandfather made some bad choices. That's my legacy. I can't get my time back. I can't go to my grandson's graduation. I can't undo the look in Sarah's eyes in that visitation room. All I have are these 24 years of silence and this chain of choices I forged for myself. But maybe by telling you this, I can keep you from picking up the first link. Maybe my story can be the thing that makes you put the plan down, turn the car around, go home, and be there. Maybe my story can be the thing that makes you put the plan down. But you see, that's the hardest truth of all. You can't give the time back. You can't undo the look in someone's eyes. The grief becomes a part of you. It sits in your chest like a second, heavier heart. I want to tell you about a Tuesday, just an ordinary Tuesday about 10 years in. That's when it really hit me. The mail came. I got a letter from Sarah. It was a photo of her holding her first baby, my first grandchild. She was smiling, but she looked tired. The baby was wrapped in a blue blanket. I stared at that picture for hours. I traced their faces with my finger on the glossy paper. And I started thinking about all the Tuesdays I'd lost. Not just the big days, the Christmases, the birthdays, but the Tuesdays, the boring, ordinary Tuesdays where nothing happens except life. Coming home from work, maybe stopping for groceries, asking your kid how school was, watching some TV, going to bed. I'd have given anything for one of those Tuesdays, just one. To be tired from an honest day's work, to hear about a math test, to complain about the traffic. I traded a lifetime of Tuesdays for a single night of panic in a car. That photo broke me. I sat on my bunk and I cried. Not loud. Prison isn't a place for loud crying. It's the kind where your shoulders shake and you press your face into a thin pillow so no one hears you. I cried for the father who wasn't there to hold his daughter when she was scared and having a baby. I cried for the grandfather who would only ever be a signature on a letter. I cried for the man who used to know how to change a tire and grill a burger and help with homework, who was now just a number, who knew how to stand for count and avoid trouble in the shower. And here's the thing they don't tell you about losing your freedom. It's not just the big things you mourn. It's the tiny, stupid things, the feel of grass under your bare feet, the smell of rain on hot pavement, the taste of a beer that's so cold it hurts your teeth, choosing what you want for dinner, getting up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water in your own dark, quiet kitchen, the simple, profound privacy of being alone in a room that belongs to you. You don't own anything in prison, not the clothes, not the bed, not the space around you. You are a guest in your own captivity. I got a letter from my other brother, Frank, around year 15, just one. It was short. It said, "Tony, Mom passed last week. Funeral was yesterday. She asked about you at the end. Didn't know what to tell her. Take care of yourself. Frank." My mother died, and I wasn't there. I was in a cell, listening to someone argue about a card game. I couldn't say goodbye. I couldn't hold her hand. I was the son who wasn't there. That's what I became. The absence, the empty chair, the person people have to explain away. "Where's your brother?" "Oh, he can't make it." You build a life out of what you have. In there, I built a life of routine. I worked in the library. I kept my head down. I got my GED, even though I already had my diploma, just to have something to do. I became a model inmate, but model inmates are still inmates. The best you can be in that place is a ghost who doesn't cause trouble. You're not a man. You're a problem that's being managed. And you start to believe it. You start to think maybe this is all you deserve. Maybe that judge, maybe Sarah's eyes, maybe they saw the real you, the criminal, the failure, and this is just where you belong. That's the most dangerous lie of all, when you start to accept the cage. When the outside world starts to feel like a dream you had once, and this concrete and steel feels like the only real thing. I watch men get out after 20, 30 years and come back in 6 months because they couldn't handle the noise, the choices, the terrifying freedom of a grocery store aisle. The cage had become their home. I was almost one of them. The day I got out, they gave me my clothes, the little money I'd saved from my prison job, and a bus ticket. I walked out the gate. The sun felt like a physical assault. The sound of a bird was so sharp it hurt. I stood there on the side of the road, and I felt pure panic. I didn't know what to do next. For 24 years, every minute of my day had been told to me, when to eat, when to sleep, when to move. And now there was nothing, just empty time, and a bus ticket to a halfway house in a city I barely recognized. I got on the bus. I sat by the window. We drove past a park. I saw a man about my age pushing a little girl on a swing. She was laughing, her hair flying behind her. He was smiling, saying something to her. And I thought, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's what I lost. Not money, not status. The right to push my granddaughter on a swing on a Tuesday afternoon. The right to be ordinary. I looked away from the window. I put my head in my hands, and I understood, finally. This was my life now. This feeling of being a tourist in a world I used to belong to, this permanent homesickness for a life I threw away. The sentence wasn't 35 years. The sentence was forever. The judge just gave me a head start on serving it. The sentence was forever. The judge just gave me a head start on serving it. Here's what I learned, sitting in that halfway house, holding Sarah's letter. I learned that freedom isn't a location. It's not being outside a fence. It's a state of mind you can lose long before they ever put handcuffs on you. I lost mine the moment I took that gun from Mike. I surrendered it when I agreed to the plan. I signed it away with every excuse I made to myself about being the smart one, the planner. The cage isn't made of steel first. It's made of choices. Stupid, prideful, greedy choices that link together until you can't move. I was wrong about everything. I thought I was stuck in Rock Island. I wasn't stuck. I was home. I had a job that paid the bills. I had kids who, even after the divorce, still wanted to see me on weekends. I had the river. I had Tuesdays. I traded all of that for a fantasy of something easier, something more. I traded a life for a score, and the score was nothing. We didn't get a dime. We got a television we never even touched. I got a lifetime of regret for a handful of nothing. So here's my direct advice to you. If you're feeling that itch, that restless voice saying you deserve more, that you're smarter than this, that there's a shortcut, shut it down right now. That voice is a liar. It's not telling you how to get ahead. It's telling you how to get lost. Look around you, at the room you're in, at the people in your life. That's not your prison. That's your freedom. The boring job, the complicated family, the bills, the routine. That's the precious, ordinary stuff of a free life. It's the soundtrack I dreamt about for 24 years. If someone hands you a plan, if someone hands you a gun, even a metaphorical one, throw it back. Say no. Walk away. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you the strongest person in the room because you're choosing your life over a moment of chaos. You're choosing to go home. Every single day you get to choose to go home. Don't forget that. I did. You still have time. I'm 60. My best years are gone, buried under a mountain of bad choices. But you're watching this. You're breathing free air. You can get up right now and walk to your kitchen and open your own refrigerator. You can call someone you love just to hear their voice. You can make a different choice than I did. That's your power. That's your freedom. It's sitting right there in your next decision. Choose the hard, honest, boring thing. Choose to show up. Choose to be there for the graduations, the Tuesdays, the good days and the bad ones. That's the whole game. This channel, from what I understand, is about sharing stories like mine, hard lessons learned too late. If what I've said today hit home for you, if it made you think about a choice you're teetering on, then maybe you could subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Maybe hearing from other people who walk this road will help you steer clear of it. And I'd like to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, what's one ordinary thing you're grateful for today? Is it your own front door key? The sound of your kid's voice? The feel of your own bed? Saying it out loud makes it real. It reminds you what's at stake. If you know someone who needs to hear this, a kid who thinks he's invincible, a friend who's talking too big, a family member on a bad path, share this with them. Hit that like button if this story matters, if you believe a life can be saved by a story. And if you've got your own story, something hard you lived through that taught you a lesson that could help someone else, there's a way to share it. The link in the description has a form. Fill it out. Your pain doesn't have to be wasted. It can be a warning sign for someone else. I'll leave you with this. My name is Anthony Briggs. I'm a grandfather who's never held his grandson. I'm a father who became a footnote. I'm a man who knows the price of a shortcut, and it's everything. Don't be like me. Don't wait until you're holding a letter from a life you used to belong to. Put the plan down. Turn the car around. Go home and be there. However hard it is, however boring it seems, just be there. That's the only score that ever mattered.